Hi, everyone. We're going to get started with our meeting. Welcome. Welcome to the September 1st kind of meeting of the year that we have for the Forest Park Chamber. We took a break this summer, a little bit of a break. We had a couple networking events that we did with some of the other chambers, joint chambers, and we had our golf outing. But now it's September, we're back to school, we're back to being ready, and here we go. So welcome. And for those of you at home watching from your couch or watching from on YouTube, come join us whenever you can, because we have a really good lunch here today from Hammond's Catering, and everybody's going back for seconds and hopefully getting their good pulled pork. So they're a good local business, so think about utilizing them. We have a great program for you today to talk about some of the tangible benefits that the Chamber can offer for you, and some things that you can take advantage of to save you some money, save you some time, and hopefully make your employees not worry as much about things outside of the world, and we'll get to that, things that can happen so that they can focus on work and you all can focus on your business and getting back to work. Our next meeting will be October 19th. We will have the RCP meeting, and that will be in Springdale at the auditorium in Springdale. More information will be coming out about that. We have a local author who is Laura Sharp-Page, who's going to discuss her book and some findings that she has in the workplace. And then we will have other events going on in November and December, and we'll have another RCP meetings in December. So RCP is back. So thank you to our sponsor, SACA, and Will Roberts is here today to introduce our speakers and also introduce or tell you a little bit about SACA and what they can do for us. So I'm going to pass it on to Will.
Nancy, thank you very much, and thank you to the Forest Park Chamber members for having us out today. Like Nancy mentioned, my name is Will Roberts. I'm the Relationship Manager with SACA. SACA stands for the Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance, and we were formed back in 1993 as a small employer health care alliance. So there was 5 chambers in the Dayton area that wanted to come together to help provide services to chambers across primarily Southwest Ohio, and that resulted in what we now have today to provide not only health care benefits to the businesses through the chambers, but a plethora of other cost-saving opportunities and benefit opportunities for your employees, with retention and hiring being as difficult as they are today. Some of the programs that are available through your chamber because of SACA can help you in your retention and hiring plans. So keep that in mind as well, and reach out to Nancy to find out more about those pieces. So in the interest of time, I'm not going to go through a full presentation with SACA, but I do want to bring up and introduce to you the individuals who you will hear from today. Gentlemen, as I call you, if you want to come up to the table, and we'll get started here in just a second. We'll lead off with Todd Goodwin. Todd is with the ID Legal Shield program through DataGuard. We also will have Mr. James Baker. He is with Hunter Consulting. He'll talk to you on a couple of different levels about things through Hunter Consulting and the Hunter PEO program. And then we will conclude the program with Scott Marston. And Scott is going to talk to you about the healthcare benefit program called the SACA benefit plan, and actually just a little more information, and not to steal his thunder, the SACA benefit plan, a MIWA, a mutual employer welfare arrangement, is actually the largest one in the state of Ohio, and it is Anthem does a great job. It's supported through Anthem, again, run across the state, but the way this was built to help small businesses has just been really a positive piece since the Affordable Care Act came into play. So with that, I'm going to turn the mic over to Mr. Todd Goodwin to get him started on his program here. So Todd?
Thank you, Will. And Will says a lot of things about SACA. He's paid to represent SACA, okay? I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that because before I get started, every benefit that you guys see, how many of you guys get like 100 emails a day? Get 100 emails a day, right? We all are drowning in that stuff. And how many of you get emails where people are wanting to sell you things, right? Anybody get those? I get them, right? And here's the thing. What SACA does, I think one of the best benefits, anytime you see a SACA-sponsored benefit, you don't need every single thing there is out there. Everybody agree, right? But when you hear that it's sponsored by SACA, SACA has taken on a role that they are doing the vetting. They're doing the heavy lifting. Because all of us, we go through this, we're drowning in information coming from emails and all that, right? And do you guys find it hard to just figure out what is what out there and what you can trust, what's a good deal, a really good value, right? And that's what SACA is doing. Behind the scenes, they're doing all that legwork that makes it so that you can at least say, hey, these are great benefits. Anything you see in the SACA, you know, the stable there of benefits, and we've had to go through massive vetting with the SACA and the board at SACA to get where we are, okay? So I thought I'd add that in there because that is, we appreciate SACA, what they do with us, but we know what they bring to the table for you guys. So with that being said, I'm going to go into specifically, Will's going to cue up the slide. I represent a product called Legal Shield and ID Shield, and you'll see my card sometimes it's a little confusing because it's called Data Guard Partners. We provide some services like coming in and telling employees and employers. We do ID theft workshops for you. We do it for organizations as well sometimes. Anytime you see Data Guard Partners, that's me too, okay? But we represent these products called Legal Shield and ID Shield. And really, what they do, in essence, there's two areas that Legal Shield, that's the big house, covers. And that is this area of legal services, okay, and how you get them. How many of you guys like the word lawyer, all right? I've got a son who's an attorney. He's in business with us. He's not here today, but James knows him. And Nick's a great guy, but we have lots and lots of lawyer jokes at his expense, right? And it's because lawyers are not always the easiest to deal with, right? It's not the fun thing in life to do. But I'm going to show you a way that Legal Shield can make that easier for you to access, and you can do it through SACA at a reduced rate. And then in the other area is this thing called ID Shield. Very, very simple to explain to you. I'm going to actually start with that one because that's where we engaged the president of SACA, who's not here today, Matt Appenzeller, right out of the gate. About 2 weeks after they decided to take this on, Matt signed up for ID Shield, and within 2 weeks, he had his identity stolen. Now, let me tell you what it looked like for him. You guys hear about all the credit cards and bank account information and all that stuff, right? That is not identity theft. Identity theft is when somebody goes down to the local county and starts spinning up businesses in your name, using your credit and your good name to get things started, okay? Because they've accumulated a profile on you that looks like you, all right? When that starts to happen and they start doing things that make you look bad, guess what? The whole idea is you hold the bag for that, okay? That started to happen to Matt 2 weeks after he enrolled in the product. Within about 2 hours after he found out it was going on, he was on the phone with these guys, and they had that restoration that I'll tell you about already going into play, okay? ID Shield, at its core, does two things for you. ID Shield, for you, if you have it, I've got it on my phone right now, and on a daily basis, I get updates on what's going on, not only with my credit, but the things that really matter, such as your driver's license. Let me ask you guys, if I took away any of your driver's license, I saw several cars pulled in the parking lot. If I took away your driver's license for the next year, how does that change your life? Anybody? For me, life is over. I don't know about you guys. Life's over for that year, right? Maybe for a lot longer than that. We've had people that have their driver's license hacked because someone in New Mexico is using it and they accumulate DUIs out there and don't show up for court. You know what happens after that? You're summoned, right? You get subpoenas and you lose your license, all right? So ID Shield's watching, it's monitoring those things. It's watching medical databases, it's watching federal databases, it's watching state databases, and also all of these DMVs across the United States. And here's the thing, at the bottom there it says guaranteed restoration. This is what the company started with in 2003. Before anybody else was thinking about this, they already had a group of licensed private investigators together that go and restore your ID. So they can find it and fix it. That's the guarantee that ID Shield puts together. That's why SACA stands behind this product, because it doesn't matter how long it takes them to fix it. It's built right into the guarantee. Let me tell you why it's important to business owners. Most ID theft will definitely affect an employee's mental capacity to do the job at your work, okay? Everybody agree with that? I mean, if you've got somebody, we had one business where we went in and the owner of a Honda dealership said, hey, my guy who's running the dealership for me has $80,000 of medical bills that somebody tried to dump on him, and the hospital's in full pursuit of him right now. That was how it started, and this guy was spending about half his time trying to deal with that. That is the first thing. It's easy to understand that, right? Let me tell you a reason why a business owner would consider getting this put in as either a voluntary benefit or a full benefit, is that when that happens, these people, it affects your business. They can get to you, to your business, through the information that I carry around if I work for you on my phone, okay? Emails, password files, that whether you like it or not, that I have things on my phone, and you should protect their ID because their ID naturally protects your business or the employer, okay? There have been many, many, many cases. You guys remember the Marine Corps when they got hit? It was through somebody's phone, all right? They hacked an individual, got enough information to get into the Marine Corps and hack all that information in there. So that's ID Shield. At its core, it finds it and fixes it. It's under $10 a month to do that with SACA rates. We can get you the rates. Everything's up here on the front. Legal Shield. This goes into the other area that the company takes care of is in small business and individual, they put the services of the top attorneys in the United States in the form of a membership, okay? So you pay a membership. We have about 5 million different memberships right now where they're paying their monthly membership, and it's very low. It's about $20 a month for a family to do this. And they pay that membership, and every month they have open access to the top attorneys in the United States. Every state has a top quality law firm in charge of that state, and then they do the contracting with the local firms. So if you need help locally, you can get that. This has saved me in the big things and the small things. I don't have any holdup. How many of you guys have thought, I'd like to call an attorney. I think I might need to call an attorney, but you start thinking about the hourly rate. How many of you have ever thought that, right? Everybody does it. It's the same thing you do if you go to the doctor. They're trying to eliminate that now, but the fact is, you think about the cost. And what we do is we put that in a package where you can call that attorney anytime you want. Small things, big things, and nationwide coverage, okay? Small businesses, frankly, most small businesses are running with little to no legal help, okay? If you're a small business, I'm just going to tell you, the world is against you, if you don't know this already, right? And if you're running without an attorney beside you where you can get daily consultation on the stuff that you're doing every day so that you avoid the problems rather than having to defend the problems, then that's not the best way to run, okay? This allows a small business to do that for a very small amount of money, a small membership fee, and you get that consultation that you need and many other services all in the package. The last thing I'm going to tell you about that we should put on a slide, but I'm going to have it on a slide, is something that ID Shield now has been asked about for many, many years, and that is cybersecurity services, okay? If you're a small company right here and you have any exposure to the internet, you need to take a look at this. If you are a large company, for different reasons, you need to take a look at this, because what it does is, you guys have heard about cyber insurance, right? Many of you probably have it on your policy. Cyber insurance is, if I get hacked, if my company gets penetrated by some hacker out there, and it hurts some of my customers or it hurts my employees, then that cyber insurance is meant to come in and restore them, okay? It's meant to pay the costs, right? So much like fire insurance, right? Here's the thing many people do not know. I want you to listen very carefully here, is that many of these almost all of the cyber insurance policies have requirements in there that say, hey, if you have exposure to the internet, then you need to be testing your website, right? So that we make sure that you're not just inviting somebody in all the time. That's pretty reasonable, wouldn't you think, right? Most employers, most businesses that we meet, they have no idea that catch is in there. Do you know what will happen if somebody sues you for $1 million and that catch is in there and you were not prepared for it? You'll probably end up paying, okay? You have put your lawyer in settlement mode at that point. What this service does is very simple. It sits between your web designers and your cyber insurance, okay? At the time, if there ever is a hack, what it does is it's constantly monitoring your site, okay, your URLs, and every month it's telling your website designer, hey, you might have a problem, and here's what it is. And it's giving you updates. We've tested it. We actually broke through the firewall, and here's where we broke through, okay? And it's testing that. And here's the thing. The thieves, do you think the thieves are kind of keeping up with things? They're changing their tactics, right? Well, here's the thing. This keeps up with the tactics. So even on big companies, they love our service because it's really, really cheap to implement this. We're testing this stuff all the time, and we're handing them reports. Let's say that the worst thing happens, because nobody can guarantee that the hackers aren't going to get through. Agreed, right? Let's say that happens. What you need is this paperwork that says, hey, when I file my claim, we tried our best, and that gets your claim paid. You see what I'm saying? That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get your claim paid if the worst happens, and hopefully, by the way, protect you so that it never happens. Got it? So we're excited about that product, and it's under $90 a month. It's very, very, very simple to put in. So that's Legal Shield and ID Shield, and if you need to speak with me, my name's Todd Goodwin. I have cards here. We'll take good care of you. You can see the pricing on this is very, very inexpensive to do. We do this in the form of employee benefits. We do it in the form of, if the employer wants to pay some of it, they can write it off, but it is well within your reach to get to any of these products. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you guys and meet you soon.
All right, well, before Todd sits down, does anybody have any questions real quick for him? Oh, yeah, question and answer.
Any questions? Either I confused them really, really bad, or it was...
Or you just spoke really well. That's what it was. You spoke real well. All right. Well, thank you, and Todd will be here for a little bit, so if you have questions, feel free to catch him before he heads out. We're going to bring up next Mr. James Baker. James is with Hunter Consulting. He's actually talk on a couple of different things for us, the workers' comp group rating program, as well as another piece that's a little more close to his heart. So, James, why don't you come up and I'll pull up your slides for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm a karaoke guy, and I feel like I'm following a really good singer after this, so I'm going to try my best, but just bear with me. Great job, Todd. Yeah, Legal Shield has done a lot for me as well. I got a will because of Legal Shield. It's a free will, so anybody doesn't have a will, there's no cost, which is awesome. So I'm James Baker from Hunter Consulting, and I wanted to talk to you guys about what we can do for local businesses and how we can make a real difference with them. If you look at the Ohio workers' comp system, it's very unique. There's only 4 states like Ohio where the insurer is the state of Ohio. If you go over to Indiana, if you go down to Kentucky, you can bring in insurance companies to quote workers' comp. You cannot do that here. You do not have that option. And so Hunter Consulting, which was formed in 1986 by Jack Hunter, I think one of the driving factors was these businesses need to be represented on their side to make sure that we're not allowing, faulty claims that get through, and that we can do some things to lower their actual premiums and actually represent them from the employer side. So, if you could, beautiful. So Hunter, we have around 30 employees. We're over in Anderson, and it's just a super company from start to, it starts with the ownership. And they're very knowledgeable people, they're very fair, they're very friendly, and that's the kind of employees that we have at Hunter. And not just to, throw that out there, but we've got a lot of employees that have been there for 10, 20, even 30 years. The gal who heads up our workers' comp has been there since 1986. She's one of the original employees. So it really speaks highly of the company, that people enjoy what they're doing, they enjoy working for this employer, and it shows because we're able to obtain some awesome clients as well. So, the workers' comp helps injured workers and employers cope with workplace injuries, of course, and what we're here to do is to minimize the impact of some of these losses, get these employers in the right programs, so they're not overpaying for workers' comp, which a lot of folks end up doing. Next slide, please. So when we're talking about programs, the biggest program out there, we've been partnered with SACA since I think 1993 for workers' comp, is the group rating program. So if you're an employer, no matter who you are, if you have a good claims history, meaning you don't have a lot of workers' comp claims against your experience, you can participate in the group rating program. And what that does for an employer, it will give you discounts off your rates. If you have no claims, whatever the actual rate is for your industry, you can achieve a 53% discount off of that rate. And so our job is to try to help these employers maintain those rates, do some things that will, if they do have a claim, minimize the impact, whether that's settling a claim, whether that's having the employer maybe do wage continuation that might lessen the impact of the claim, and actually representing them at hearings for workers' comp. We use attorneys at these hearings. It's all paid for. Even if you're a small client that pays us $100 a year, those are the clients that usually don't have a claim, and even if they did, goes to a hearing, we're going to actually pay for that attorney to attend the hearing and fight on your behalf. There's also the group retro program. We might go back one, sorry. There's another program where instead of if you have a good claims history, you can be in group rating, you get a discount off your rates. If you don't have a good claims history, you have maybe one bad claim in that mix, then we're able to place you into the group retro program where we measure the group every year and try to obtain refunds for that group. So you do have to pay a higher rate, but if you weren't in the program, you're paying a higher rate regardless. And so that program has been very successful in getting companies that are in a penalty on their rate situation, getting then some refunds back through the group retro program. Okay. And so if you're a new business, a lot of folks don't even realize they can actually enroll in the group rating program immediately. In the past, you had to wait like an entire year to even get in and start getting your discounts. There's a Grow Ohio program where you can actually apply for coverage and then enroll in the Grow Ohio and have Hunter as your TPA, as your third-party administrator, and then the next month you're in the group program getting the 53% discount off of your rates, which is really nice. And so when we're applying for coverage, if there's a new business and they're new to this, we can help you through the process of getting the UA3 application filled out, getting a policy issued, and then you have to select a managed care, not to get too much into that, but There's another entity of the Bureau of Workers' Comp where they actually outsource the medical management portion of workers' comp. So you have an injury, the first report of injury goes to this MCO, and you need to select an MCO when you're starting a business. And those folks are there to, medically manage the claim, get the people back to work, and make sure the claims just don't, keep on going forever, because sometimes we see sort of that, Okay. So let's actually, can we go one more? There, thank you. So what we've done over the years is accumulated around 2,000 clients in the state fund, and what we've been able to do is build these groups. So all of these groups have different industries that they're associated with. So if you're at a construction company, you can be in the construction group. And if you're in manufacturing, there's a group for manufacturers, there's a group for transportation, and there's like 4 or 5 different options. But what's nice is that our group discounts are tiered very nicely from 53% on down to 20. So if you have some claims in your experience, it could affect the discount, but it's really nice that we have the ability to place you where you should be based on your experience. And so the group discounts are something that we're really proud of, and we have 53% in virtually every industry. Thank you. So like I said, they're grouped by industry. Every company has expected losses. It's like a measuring stick for group rating. If you don't know what that is, we can let you know what your number is, and that number you need to stay far away from your actual claims for 4 years. If you go over that, you can't be in group, so it's really important to know if you have a claim, what do I do? Do I pay the wages of my injured worker until they get back to work? Do I fight the claim? What do we do here? And we can help really assess that situation for you and make sure that the impact is minimal. So I talked a little bit about this, but as a TPA, as a third-party administrator, what we're trying to do is represent the employer. That's just the easiest way to say it. When a claim occurs, we're notified, and so then we can, discuss it with our client and making sure that we have all the facts, that we can do a lot of other things as well. Somebody might be injured and they have a back injury, and it might take them months to get back and work instead of weeks, and maybe they had a pre-existing condition that affected their recovery time, and what we're able to do is go back and find those, the medical that could actually allow the Bureau to pay out a separate fund and not charge it against our client. It's called a handicap reimbursement. I'm sure they're going to change that word soon here. But it's, Hunter's great. They've been around a long time, and they do an awesome job. They're also involved in self-insured administration as well. We have over 100 self-insured employers, like the Cincinnati Bengals and Skyline Chili. So, they do a great job, and I'm really proud to be a part of it. Do you guys have any questions for me regarding Hunter Consulting or workers' comp in general? Okay. Sorry, guys, you get me again. Todd, you want to do this one? So in 2014, Hunter Consulting developed a PEO, a professional employer organization, and what that means is these companies, they're in all 50 states. Basically what you're doing is you're taking an existing workforce and you're running the taxes, the workers' comp, the payroll under our federal ID, TeamWorks, instead of their own. Now, why would anybody want to do this? Well, there's a lot of liabilities out there, not just workers' comp, but that's obviously a big one that we're talking about. But you have liabilities regarding lawsuits, regarding unemployment claims, a lot of things that could go wrong with an employer. And what we're trying to do is minimize the impact of those issues. So yeah, PEOs, like I said, they've been around, they're in all 50 states. They actually started in the late 60s, so they've been around a long time. It used to be termed as employee leasing. Maybe heard that. Some of you guys have maybe heard that term. And we become the administrative employer. So when clients actually sign up with us, their 941 quarterly taxes are zeros. they're actually accounted for under our umbrella. And so the IRS is good with this, Bureau of Workers' Comp's good with this, everybody's good with this. You're actually shifting liability of your taxes over to us, which is a great thing. And I think I did mention there was only 4 states like Ohio for the workers' comp where you cannot get another option. So what we've done, since we're such an expert in the self-insured workers' comp administration, is why we're in the PEO business, because that is the driving factor that makes the engine go, allows the employer to save a lot of money by being enrolled in a PEO. Typically, we're about 20% less than what they're paying. Sometimes more, sometimes not. And so, what we're able to do is just get a review out to these companies and see if there's a financial benefit. It's a free review. It's the same type of review as if you were to try to get a group rating quote. We look back 6 years, we see how things look, and see how much we need to collect and figure out if there's a difference there. So when you're self-insured, you don't deal with this other entity I mentioned earlier, the managed care organization. So you've got another entity that decides whether somebody gets surgery or physical therapy. Is a claim, isn't a claim. So in this world, there is no MCO. The employer is the entity that are making the decision. So that's my client and my company. And so the initial determination of a claim is done through us, not that outside company. This is important. So I've got a client that is a trucking company. They had a guy who was getting ready to get terminated, and he decided he was going to pretend like he had an accident out in their parking lot. And so if that would have gone through the state fund, there's a chance the claim would have been filed. It would have had to been fought. They would have had to pay thousands of dollars to fight the claim. Instead, because we are the initial determination of a claim, we denied the claim. Now, he could have gotten an attorney and fought it, didn't do that. So the fact that you're just able to shut down some of these claims right from the get-go is a huge advantage for companies. And so in the self-insured world, it's a place you want to be if you're a business. The cost of claims in the state fund can be very expensive. The rates are actually pretty low right now. But no matter what they are, if you have one bad claim, your rate can double for 4 years. So that's a huge liability that companies face. So when they hire Teamworks, the co-employment relationship gives us the ability to provide them with the self-insured workers' comp and the self-insured workers' comp rates. And what ends up happening is when claims occur, they're significantly less in the self-insured world. The state fund, they add reserves, they add a lot of things that drive up the cost of employers. You don't see that in this arrangement. So there's a lot of other costs associated with workers' comp too. You have to get an attorney. If you don't agree with what the medical says, you have to get an independent medical exam done. That's $1,000. Anything that's done in the PEO, we own it. We actually own the claim for the life of the claim for the workers' comp. So that's a huge liability we're taking. So if you can imagine, we can't take smaller companies into Teamworks. So probably the majority of the members would probably not apply to this. But some of the larger businesses out there might like what we're saying. I'd say 50 employees and up, because they have to have enough premium to save the money. And so if your premiums aren't large enough, there will not be a financial benefit. You could still maybe work with us and be happy to see what's out there as far as savings for these companies. So self-insured workers' comp, that's the engine that's driving everything. Integrated safety services, so if we have a client that keeps having continual claims, we can send in our safety team. They can do a safety walkthrough and try to identify some issues. It's our dime, it's our expense. Another benefit of being in the PEO arrangement. Employee handbooks are also key. We review every employee handbook for all of our new clients, and there could be some shortcomings in that employee handbook. Maybe you haven't had your employees sign off on that employee handbook. Maybe there's a whole myriad of things, because laws are constantly changing, and if you don't get that thing updated and then something goes wrong, you're not going to be able to win an unemployment claim, because if you don't have the right documentation and can prove that your employee knew that they were violating company policy, you're going to lose, and it's going to cost you a lot in unemployment. So with human resources, we're more like a back office HR department. We don't claim we're going to be HR. We're not. That's not who we are. So we're going to make the people that are on the other end, their lives a lot easier. Instead of having to deal with, a payroll company and taxes and workers' comp, 3 different levels there, and just right around dealing with one company is nice. And so there could be a comfort level of the folks you're working with initially, but once they see, wow, this is smooth and it makes a lot of sense. We deal with the I-9 compliance, making sure that we have an online system where you can get your I-9s to your employees electronically. And of course, write-ups are important because I can't tell you how many times I've seen people. There was a guy who had a business, they had a no-call, no-show kind of employee, and it went on for years. And so he put in his employee handbook, no-call, no-show, result in termination. He had his employees sign that. Okay, he's on the right track, but he never wrote up the employee. So like the 15th time after this all occurred, he decides to terminate the employee. And guess what? The employee won because there was no write-up process. You need to prove that that employee is going down the road of termination. It wasn't done. So they didn't do that when they were our client, just so you know. But these are the type of issues that we would help handle if you were a TeamWorks client, not just the work comp, but hey, I've got this employee and this is what's going on. What are my options? What's the best thing I should do here? Now, as an employer, you can do what you want. You have control of your employees, but you'll have the backing of TeamWorks, which has the backing of labor attorneys and people that know what they're doing in that element. So yeah, like I mentioned, these companies are dealing with the payroll company, IRS, Job and Family Services, Homeland Security, and instead of dealing with all those entities, you can deal with one company, TeamWorks. Let's actually skip this. I think I actually got to that. So the BWC's been having refunds for quite a while, and I don't know if you've noticed, if you're getting money back from the Bureau of Workers' Comp, I think you. And so money was actually raining down on employers. There was a 500% rebate over an 18-month span. Some of that did have to do with COVID. But the money's not there now. There's no refund this year. It's based on investments. Don't know how it's going to look next year. If you do go in that direction, the self-insured employers do not get a refund. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're wanting to work with TeamWorks. It's a good time now because it's a level playing field, whereas before, the state was the one giving all that money back. So some of our clients, you'll notice that most of these folks are in the blue-collar industry because they are paying the highest rates for workers' comp. So it's not going to be your office-type businesses or the non-riskiest companies out there, so to speak, clerical. 10 cents per $100 of payroll is what the base rate is for clerical. For a roofer, it's about $6.50. So it's really expensive if you're on that other side. And those are the folks that we're going to be able to save the most to. So if you know of anybody that might be interested in just looking at the financial aspect of this, come see me, grab a card, we'll do a free review. I'll let you know. It's real clear cut. I mean, they actually have to have premiums around $30,000 or greater to even save anything. So if you find out a company is only paying $20,000, it's not going to be enough. But if we found another company like that, we could actually underwrite both companies under one. So it could actually work out. If you're not sure, I could size it up even without maybe even doing a review and letting you know if it might be something that the employer is going to benefit from. I know it said 45,000. We dropped that to 30. If you saw that, if you're anybody paying attention there. Do you guys have any questions about TeamWorks? We're basically getting companies to pay less, adding services that's going to help their business, and saving money. So, thank you, guys. I guess you get that back here. You got to get announced first.
You want to cheat here, Scott? Go ahead. Oh, I was going to cheat here real quick and try and get Scott's information in front of me. But our final presenter, talking about the SACA benefit plan, Right, there he is on the screen. He's live and in person here as well, Scott Marston, and with Cincinnati Benefit Solutions.
Should probably change that picture. I haven't worn a tie in like 2.5 years. So, well, I know that lunch is probably starting to set in, so we just got one more. So just stay with us here. So, like Will was saying, I'm Scott Marston with Cincinnati Benefit Solutions, and I'll talk a little bit about my company a little bit later in the presentation. And when Will started us out, he talked about the origin of SACA and how it started as a health care plan for small businesses, and I'm going to expand a little bit more on that and where it is today. What I'm talking about today is called a group health insurance plan. So this is a health insurance plan that you would run through your business and offer it to your employees, okay? Number one goal of this plan, no secret out there, it's a tight labor market, is to simply attract and retain good employees. More than half our country gets their health insurance through their employer, and it's just expected to be there in most cases when you bring on a new employee, and COVID's kind of accelerated that need for a person or an employee wanting health insurance. Why would you offer it outside of attracting and retaining employees? One is that we've basically, most people in one of two places, they're either getting their health insurance through their employer or they got it from the individual market. You may have heard it referred to as the marketplace before. And what we see is that a group health insurance plan typically has better coverage, meaning lower co-pays for doctor visits and so forth, and deductibles, and also more affordable, meaning lower premiums than an individual plan. The group health insurance plan, it also provides tax benefits or tax advantages to your employees and your business. So anything that you would contribute towards your employee's premium is a tax write-off for you as a business. And the tax benefit for the employee is that whatever amount they end up paying, you're going to want to take that pre-tax out of their paycheck. So it's a pre-tax purchase for your employees, and that leads to another tax advantage, tax benefit for your business is the premium that employee is paying pre-tax. You don't have to do your matching employer contribution for Social Security and Medicare. Okay. Go back one more. Yep. And also in the group health insurance market versus the individual market, the group market is where you get the full network of hospital and doctors. So Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield is the insurance company behind the scenes. It's their Blue Access PPO network. So essentially that means any hospital or area is going to take it. 97% of your doctors are going to be in network. That other 3% that don't take it typically aren't considered medical professionals, or they may be a self-pay practice, like a chiropractor or a psychiatrist, compared to the individual market where, yes, you can go to any hospital, but it does have a limited network of doctors. Okay. So what is SACA offering you here in the Forest Park Chamber is what's called a MIWA, Multiple Employer Welfare Arrangement. All that is just a fancy insurance term for your insurance with multiple other businesses and nonprofits across the state of Ohio. You're leveraging that purchasing power to get competitive rates and also help you at renewal time with increases, because you're leveraging thousands and thousands of employees versus just them looking at your small business and your small business only. Some of the specifics about the plan, it is offered to small employers with 2 to 50 employees. So if you're over 50 employees, you wouldn't be eligible for this benefit. You must have a minimum of 2 employees take the coverage to offer it and have the plan get off the ground. If you're a sole proprietor, there is an option for a sole proprietor, but sole proprietors only, so it wouldn't fall under like a single member LLC or S Corp. It's just sole proprietors at this time. And then lastly, yes, you must be a member of the Forest Park Chamber of Commerce. So you're buying your health insurance with multiple other businesses. The state says if you do that, you got to have at least one thing in common, and that one thing in common is a chamber membership. So a little bit about our company, what I am or what Cincinnati Benefit Solutions is we're a health insurance agency. You may have heard the term broker before. That's what I am. And what we're here to do is just make your life easier. So we're a multi-line agency, so we can be your one-stop shop for all your needs for dental, vision, disability, life, etc. And if you have any employees that are 65 currently or approaching the age of 65, we can help them with their transition over to Medicare. And then lastly, our biggest benefit is our customer service team. You know, James had mentioned their employees and how long they've been there, and that's the same case with our customer service team. Average tenure of our customer service team is 22 years. Happy employees, happy clients. They'll do their best to service you with a smile. They've been in the industry for a very long time, so our service is very responsive because they've heard the questions that you're going to bring to the table. And just making your life easier, we do everything from implementing your plan, providing all the service for the plan, whether that would be you have a question about billing, claims, we'll do your annual policy renewals. So we're going to be the bridge between you and Anthem and Blue Cross and Blue Shield. So if you as the employer or your employee has a question, you'll call us. You won't call Anthem. All right, next slide. And then lastly, probably what y'all want to know is what am I going to pay? If you brought a business card, I can email this over to you if you'd like to get a quote to see where you would land with the plan. This slide here shows exactly what I need to send you a quote, and I can send this to you in email. I just need the name of your business, your address, your tax ID number, and then the name, date of birth, and home zip code of full-time employees to be considered for insurance. So the state defines a full-time employee as someone that works 30 or more hours a week. That is open to interpretation as an employer. You know, you can draw the line in the sand and say, you know, this is only eligible for people that work 30 or more hours a week, 52 weeks a year, minus the vacation they take. You know, some employers look at that on a quarterly basis. Some of it look on an annual basis. You know, if your business has peaks and valleys where you're working 60 hours one week and 10 the next, you know, it is just whatever you feel is best for your situation. And then lastly, if there's any spouses or children that need to be considered for the coverage as well, I'll just need their name, date of birth, and home zip code too. Questions? Guess I did a good job then.
I'm just going to add something. So I don't work for any of them, but I've worked with Scott on a lot of different things, and I did call him quickly because I am an LLC. I have my own LLC. I'm not a sole proprietor, but when they opened it as sole proprietors, Scott talked to me quickly and explained to me what I could do. They're all local. They're all, these guys all are, like we said with SACA, vetted and able to do things. We have another benefit that we didn't discuss today, which is the energy program. I think I've told a lot of you that I had that with my gas. The Chamber Energy Program. We offer that as a Forest Park Chamber member. Really, I don't even know if you should be a member of the Chamber, but you can send in your home Duke Energy bill. They will give it to you. I got kind of messed up. I had my gas through them. I did not have my electric. I kept getting things in the mail that said my electric company went out of business. And I got picked up in Ohio, and in July, my bill tripled, my house bill. I was like, whoo. I called and sent my bill to them. They signed me up and got my rate cut in half, or almost, I mean, it's probably 2/3 of what it was going to be, and it'll be that way for my electric because of the way Ohio is running. So just to let you know that, all of the people that we have that we offer benefits for are locally vetted and people that are easy enough to work with. So I just wanted to give that plug real quick. And sure, it's great. And I do have my health insurance through Anthem. My husband's company is a chamber member of another chamber, but they have the SACA benefit plan. So, and it's pretty good. We do fine with it. So just to let you know. And I think the city uses that plan, right? Where? No? Oh, but you have Anthem. So, I mean, it's a very similar kind of a deal. So, okay. Anything else? You got anything you want to wrap up?
If there's any other questions before our panelists need to head out, but first of all, Nancy, thank you for having us today. We appreciate you and the Forest Park Chamber members being out here to support us. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, James. Thank you, Scott, for presenting today. Just this slide I like to share. So this gives you a picture, really, of what services SACA brings to your chambers. So, like Nancy mentioned, you also have the Chamber Energy Program, which also is part of the Chamber Sustainability Program. So we all know that those utility rates have gone up dramatically here in the last 3-4 months. If you haven't had your rates checked, just checked, doesn't cost you anything, reach out to Nancy. She can get you the information to make sure you talk with the right folks to get that information to either provide your own self-assurance that, okay, the pricing that I'm paying is the best pricing I can get, or is there some savings that we can see? And those savings can apply at home as well as the office. So it's something you, again, can extend out to your employees, assuming that you have it at the office. So, but again, just want to say thank you for having us today. And again, Nancy will have any of this information available to you. As a former chamber executive, I know she is juggling 1,000 things just today, but this is one of those pieces, helping to build that connection to help you as business owners and executives and directors help you save money and help you retain and attract your employees. So that's why we're here, to help Nancy and to help you. So with that, if there are no other questions, and let me ask real quick, any questions? You've been a quiet crowd today. That just means these guys were awesome. Let me just say again, Nancy, thank you very much for having us.
Thank you. Thank you, and we will watch your emails, but we will see you October 19th in Springdale for the RCP. So thank you.